Hello everyone, my name is Daisy Maldonado, and today I will be talking about teaching children basic manners and structure, whether that be your own children, your students, etc. No matter what the case may be, I'm sure you will find some tips in here that you will find helpful.
Okay, so when we look at this picture, what comes to mind as to what they are doing? Sharing, right? That is one of the biggest things that we must teach children. We too often see how children are crying or they're fighting because the other has had a toy for too long and they won't share it, or because sometimes kids are like, no, well, it's my toy, so nobody else could use it, even when it's not being used. So we want children to understand that sharing is a very important factor in day-to-day life and just start getting them used to it from a very young age. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video and show an example of treating others the way you want to be treated. Here it is. Okay, so as you see, when one person makes fun of another and it somehow seems to turn into like a cycle, but you want to teach them to always be the bigger person, and regardless if that person wasn't the nicest to you, let's not go down to their level and always be kind, making sure that others are okay. So we want our children to just understand if you were treated a certain way and you didn't like it, don't follow in and do the same thing. Instead, let's be better.
Okay, so manners, sharing. Why do you think that's important? Well, of course, when we share with others, that makes them feel good. It makes them feel happy. So manners are important because the way you treat others is going to make life much more enjoyable, not just for you, but the people around you. They're going to enjoy your company more. It really sets the stage for healthy relationships throughout life. Because, of course, being around someone who is inconsiderate of others' feelings, it just makes things more difficult. It causes more arguments, less achievements. And then, as I mentioned earlier, sharing is, of course, very important in a child's life. I think that it's one of the biggest things that needs to be focused on when you're teaching them to be well-mannered. You always want to make them associate their actions with how they would feel if the same thing was done back to them. So, of course, going back to treat others the way you want to be treated. That is the main thing a child needs to remember. If you're doing this to this person, how would that make you feel if it was done back to you? Providing structure. So you want to set limits for behavior that is unacceptable, use rewards for good behavior and manners, use appropriate consequences for bad behavior. So a reward doesn't always have to be materialistic, it doesn't have to be toys, it doesn't have to be money. It can just be something like a fun activity that they enjoy doing, maybe going to the park, eating their favorite food, getting to watch TV for a few extra minutes that night, getting extra computer time that night. Anything your child may enjoy. It's also important to remember to reward them as soon as possible for the action that you are praising. You may also turn it into a system where you put points into place, maybe if you set a limit to like 3 points, and that's when they get rewarded. Every 3 points, they get a reward. And for consequences, you want to make sure that it's nothing too harsh. It can be something as simple as no screen time for the day, or taking away their favorite toy for the day. And consequences do not have to go on for days. Usually just the remainder of the day is more than enough. Okay, now basic manners. So this will consist of please, thank you, may I, and excuse me. And then learn to apologize when it is necessary, and also have good eye contact. So it's very important for manners to be taught to children from a young age, and for you to also lead by example. You want to always make sure to use please, thank you, may I, and excuse me. You want children to be able to demonstrate appreciation for what is being done or given to them. You also want them to show empathy and respect. Learning to apologize and understand when they are wrong is key. So I often see how children, they'll make another child upset or just someone else upset, and they'll have a difficult time apologizing because they don't want to go ahead and accept the blame. So the sooner we get them to recognize what is wrong and take responsibility for their actions, the better. And then last, we want to make sure that they learn eye contact and carry that on throughout their lives. Eye contact is very important as it demonstrates engagement and also respect. Okay, so next I have an activity that I would like for all of you to try. It's called reverse roles. So what you do is you reverse the roles of the children and adults during dinner. Have each adult and older child do one or two things that are obviously bad manners and give each younger child a point for calling them out and stating what they should have done.
when you play this game, make sure that bad manners don't hurt anyone or damage property. So this is just a fun way to turn a lesson into a fun activity, which makes it easier and a better experience for them. They'll also learn to associate proper etiquette with something positive, and this will make them want to continue with the good behavior.
So one of the last things that we are going to go ahead and talk about is going to be helping a child break out of their comfort zone. So what you want to do is you want to be a model for confident behavior. You want to teach social skills from an early age. You want to support their social confidence and always provide positive reinforcement. So you want to be able to be a model, as I mentioned earlier, always lead by example. Kids really pay attention as to what you do and they follow along. So always remember that you are their role model and they are following your steps and picking up on your actions. And then you want to teach them social skills at the earliest age that's possible. And this can be as simple as just setting up a play date for them. And as they grow older, you want to teach them how to find their own way of socializing and encouraging them for, can I play too? And then always make sure that you are supporting their social confidence. You don't want to force them into uncomfortable situations, especially without a warning. And last, providing positive reinforcement will help build their self-esteem and confidence. So as we've reached the end of the presentation, there are a few things I want you to go ahead and think about. 1, what did this help you learn? 2, how do you think you will use this as they grow older? And 3, what stood out to you the most? One thing to always remember is that each child is different and they will each require different amounts of time and attention. No child is going to be the same and some may need more help than others, but it's up to you to figure out how you will choose to approach it and what works best for both you and the child.